Hello? Hello? Hi, this is the 911 center. You called me. I've got any help now? Yes, hang on. I've got police and ambulance, first responders headed to Emmonsburg and Cooley. I need you to tell me what happened. Slow down. Did the car need help? Okay. And so your wife is injured? Yes. Okay. And there was in a car accident? Yes, a pipe or something came through her windshield. A pipe did. Pipe? Okay. All right. And I'm going to connect you to medical information, sir. What's your first name? Todd. Todd, okay. And they're going to help you help her until somebody gets there, okay? Hurry up. You're going to hear a dial tone in the phone ring. Just stay on the phone. Let me talk first when they pick up, okay? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Medical Communications. Hi, this is Lisa, 911. I've got Todd on the line reference that accident at Bergen Cooley in County M. He said a pipe or something came through the windshield and hit his wife. His callback number is the number on the header, 608-790-2360. So he needs some help with it. Go ahead. Okay, tell me exactly what happened. It got her and she's hitting her head in the throat, I think, in the throat or something. She's got blood coming out of her nose and mouth and it's really big and blue. How old is she? 46. Is she awake? No, I can't get her to she talked that first a little bit. Okay. Is she breathing? No, I don't think so. No. All right, sir. We do have help on the way. Stay on the line. How long? You're off the road. Sir, I want you to stay right where you're at, sir. I'm going to try to do something with it. Yep, I'm going to put the phone down. Can you get her out of the vehicle, sir? I got her out. Okay, I want you to lay her flat on the ground. I got her flat. I know kind of state, but I don't know what to do with this. Okay, listen carefully. I'm going to tell you how to do chest compressions. Place the heel of your hand on her breastbone, right between her nipples. I know how to do that. The other hand is the top. I know how to do that. Pump the chest hard and fast. At least blood coming out of his mouth. That's okay. Go ahead and pump it twice per second and 2 inches deep, okay? Okay. Let the chest come up all the way between the pumps. I'll come back in a minute. Okay, keep going, sir. She got blood bubbling out of her mouth, Dad. That's okay. That's okay. We're going to keep pumping the chest hard and fast, okay? Pass out. I'm very doing great, sir. You're doing just fine. Keep pumping the chest hard and fast, 2 inches deep.
Is it right now on Bergen Cooley Road? Yes. Something blew up.
Confirming code in progress. Come on, Bob. Copy, code in progress.
I did it harder. Was that bad?
No,
that's bad. I know CPR first aid. Come on, Barb.
Take him. Take him. Sir, come on over with me, okay?
Go at the officer, sir.
Come with me. Who is this?
My wife.
It's your wife? Okay. What happened? Do you know what happened?
There's a pipe.
There's a pipe over here.
Okay. Come up here by the thing. Okay.
It's gonna be all right.
I don't know. Okay. Let first responders and stay right here. Okay. There's a pipe in the ground.
No, it would come out of that tree off a truck.
Off a truck?
A truck or a trailer or something. I think it was a truck with a flatbed on it.
And the truck just kept going?
I don't know if he fell asleep.
I didn't see one. Okay. Were you in the car with her?
I was driving.
Okay. All right, stay right here. Okay.
Right.
I don't know. Let first responders and everybody deal with them, okay?
tried to catch it.
Catch the pipe?
I tried to see it. I hit it. I went to hit it, but the windshield got me.
It came across the windshield?
It came through the windshield.
Okay, just stay right here.
Oh my God. We gotta hurry. She's not good. She's spitting blood out of her mouth.
They're dealing with her, okay? Let them deal with it, okay? His first name is Todd, right?
Yeah, Kendhammer.
Yep. Okay, Todd. Let them do what they can, okay? You were driving, she was in the passenger seat, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Just stay right here with me, okay?
I gotta go with her. Gotta go with her.
Well, if she goes to the hospital, we'll see if you can go with her, okay? Okay.
And you also talked to Sergeant Ely that day, and you told him that you were driving to Holman, correct?
Correct.
And you gave him the name of Justin Heim, and it was a guy you worked with at Crown, correct?
Correct.
You also told your son, Jordan, that the reason you were driving that way was you were driving to Holman, correct?
I don't remember that.
You told Investigator Leinfelder in the interview that we watched that you were driving to Holman, and again you mentioned Justin Heim, correct?
I mentioned Justin Heim.
You weren't driving all the way to Holman, though, were you?
No.
You said the keys were in the truck at the end of the driveway, correct?
I did.
You said you did work for him all the time, correct?
I did.
And you said you had just called him a month before, correct?
I don't recall if I said that or not.
Those were all lies, weren't they?
No.
They weren't true, were they?
No.
Justin never needed a windshield from you, did he?
Justin said he needed a windshield in the lunchroom at Crown one day, yes.
Did Justin Heim personally need a windshield from you?
Justin Heim was going to purchase a windshield for me, yes.
When you were informed that Justin Heim was talked to and didn't back up your story, you then said it was his friend who needed the windshield, right?
I don't recall if I said that or not.
You don't remember watching the video here with the police?
I watched several videos, yes.
Do you remember telling them that it was his friend who lived somewhere else, it wasn't Justin Heim himself?
I may have said that, yes.
You did say that, didn't you?
I don't recall for sure if that's how I worded it or not.
Well, the police then found Ben Paff, correct?
Yes.
Ben Paff did not need a windshield from you, right?
No.
And now today you have a third story, right?
No. I have the second story.
You told police first that you were going to Holman to Justin Heim's house, correct?
Yes.
Justin Heim didn't need a windshield and wasn't even home that day. You then said you were driving to his friend's house, right?
No.
You never said that?
No. Not that I recall.
Okay. Well, it wasn't Justin Heim or Ben Paff. Now it's somebody named Jerry Logan?
Yes. It was that all along.
Well, that's not what you said, though, is it?
No, it's not.
You said that you were driving to look for a truck, but you really had no idea where the truck actually was.
I had an idea where it was, yes.
Did you ever talk to Jerry Logan about his truck?
No.
Do you know where Jerry Logan lives?
Not exactly, no.
So you were driving around looking for a person that you hadn't talked to and don't know where he lives, right?
Correct.
On a day that Barbara has to go to work.
Correct.
You said to the police you drove around Thursday night, too, looking for it, right?
I said that.
You said you went to Holman and up to Mindoro, right?
I said that, yes.
That wasn't true, was it?
No.
You never drove anywhere Thursday night, right?
I drove home from work.
After that, you never drove anywhere, right?
I don't recall.
You don't recall if you drove anywhere Thursday night?
No, I do not.
Do you remember telling the police you did?
Yes.
Did you?
I don't recall if I drove anywhere Thursday night after I got home from work. I went to Michael and Jessica's house after work, and then I recall I went home, but I don't recall if I went anywhere after that.
Where would you have driven?
We go for rides all the time.
Did you?
I don't recall if I did or not.
Well, that was another lie, wasn't it?
It was not a lie.
You were telling the police a story that they would go chasing, and you couldn't explain why you were driving north, correct?
At that time, I could not explain no.
For 3.5 hours, they told you that story didn't make any sense, and you still kept saying the same thing, right?
Yes.
3.5 hours, you never brought up, maybe I don't remember, maybe it was a guy named Logan. You stuck to that story, right?
There was another, yes.
You even told them, I'm 100% of my story, right?
Yes.
You told the police from the very start that Barb worked at 8:30, right?
I did tell him that, yes.
You lied about that too, right?
I didn't lie.
She didn't work at 8:30, right?
There were mornings she started at 8:30.
She was supposed to work that day at 8,
Yes.
right? You said a typical day off for you, you would drive her to work, right?
Correct.
You'd get up with her, get her water together, right?
Yes.
Then you'd call her to work, or you'd drive her to work, right?
Yes.
And in September, that entire school year so far, every day was 8 o'clock, right?
Yes.
There was no 8:30 time in there, right?
No.
And she couldn't just not show up at 8:30, right? She'd have to call.
If she's going to be significantly late, yeah. Well, I can't show you a day that she worked at 8:30, no.
Good, thank you.
But I can also, okay, we'll just leave it at that, yeah. Thank you.
You know that her work called at 8:02. You heard that testimony, right?
Yes.
They knew she had to be work at 8, right?
Yes.
Is it possible Barb just didn't know for the first time that year she had to work at 8:30 instead of 8?
No.
She knew she had to be there at 8, right?
Yeah.
And at about 5 minutes to 8, the two of you were driving north on County M, right?
Correct.
And she didn't call in to work, did she?
No.
She would have been late, and she knew it.
Yes.
She wasn't able to call because she wasn't physically able to call, correct?
She would have been able to call, yes.
Well, you'd already heard her at that time, hadn't you?
Nope. I did not hurt Barb.
Her purse was all located in the back seat on the seat, correct?
Correct.
She couldn't have called if she wanted to. She couldn't even reach her phone.
She could have reached her phone.
In the back seat?
Sure.
Do you have a reason why she wouldn't call in when she knows she's got to work at 8 and there's no way she's going to make it by 8?
I don't have a reason.
That would be out of character for her, wouldn't it?
Yes.
She was a punctual worker,
Yes.
worked on time all the time.
Yes.
If she was late, she'd call in.
Yes.
On the day that she died, she didn't do the one thing that she always did.
Yes.
You don't find that odd?
I find a lot of things odd, yes.
You have no explanation for that, though.
I do not have an explanation for that, no.
She worried a little bit about her mom's health, correct?
Correct.
She even wanted Joyce to move in with you, correct?
Correct.
According to Barb's phone records, it looked like she called her mother almost every morning on the way to work. Is that right?
Almost every morning, yes.
In September, for a couple of weeks straight there, it looked like she called on her way to work because she talked for 5-10 minutes.
Correct.
And it was about 7:45 every morning?
Yes.
You called Joyce that morning at 7:22 a.m., right?
Yes.
And the phone call lasted 50 seconds. Did you talk to her directly or leave a message?
I talked to her directly.
And if Miss Adams said she didn't get a call, she'd be wrong?
Yes.
That was a short phone call compared to normal, right?
Yes.
And even though Barb was a passenger in the vehicle, she didn't call her mom that morning,
No.
right?
No, she didn't.
Another thing that on the day she died, she didn't do that was normal, right?
What's that?
Call her mother, talk to 10 minutes.
There's several mornings that I've called her mother instead of her.
Okay. Mr. Kendhammer, Exhibit 48 was the chart of the phone calls that Barb made to her mother on the work days, the weekdays in September. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
And every day that wasn't Labor Day or a Friday and Saturday, she called her mother, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
The time range was around 7:45, give or take 5 minutes. Am I right about that?
Yes.
And the times ranged from 7 to 10 minutes.
Yes. 5 to 10 minutes.
On Friday the 16th, she not only didn't call her mother at 7:45, she also didn't call work when she was going to be late. You have no explanation for that, do you?
No, I do not.
Did she always keep her purse in the back seat on the seat
Usually, yes.
with her phone in it so she couldn't reach it?
I'm assuming so. I don't know where she had her phone all the time.
Well, you gave her a ride every morning, you said, when you were home and she was working.
Yes.
When you gave her a ride, wasn't she having the phone with her, talking to her mom?
No, not when I was with her. Usually she wouldn't have her phone with her.
Would she keep it close to her?
I don't know. I don't know where she kept her phone.
Okay. You had talked about having no stress in your marriage. You were about to change work schedules on that Friday night, correct?
Correct.
When did you know about that change?
Month before, 2 months before.
Your son thought you had the weekend free, correct?
Correct.
Barb also thought you had the weekend free?
No.
Weren't you already in trouble at work for calling in sick too much?
No.
Didn't you have 5 points against you at work?
I had 4 points against me at work.
For calling in sick?
Yes.
So you were getting in trouble for calling in sick to work?
I would have got a verbal yes.
Okay. Well, I just asked you. You were getting in trouble for calling in sick too much to work?
I hadn't yet, no.
Well, you were about to if you called in sick one more time.
Yes, I was about to.
Friday night, you were going to call in sick anyways.
Correct.
And risk a warning.
Yes.
Instead of taking the free day that you could have had, right?
Correct.
She didn't like you working nights and weekends, did she?
She didn't care for it, no.
And now instead of camping, you were going to either work or have to call in sick and either miss camping or get one more point against you at work, right?
Correct.
And you said you switched shifts because you wanted to help a guy out. Is that right?
Correct.
Isn't it true that you had a problem with the guy on first shift?
A lot of people have a problem with somebody on first shift.
Were you one of the people that had a problem with the person on first shift?
I have a problem with him, yes.
And that's why you switched shifts. It was your idea, right?
Part of it, yes.
Okay. Well, you left that out in your direct exam. I want to be complete.
Okay.
When you said that you were going camping that weekend and you said you were going to use that money for camping. Remember that?
Yes.
Why did you need money for camping?
We didn't.
You said that you were going to use that money for camping.
Yes.
Okay.
We would have used it.
You said that Barb was the one responsible for bills.
Yes.
Did you have some unpaid bills in your vehicle?
No. I had one, I'm sorry. It wasn't in my vehicle, I don't think, though.
What was that one?
Allied Electric.
And how much did you owe Allied Electric?
I think it was $4,000.
Did you also have a conversation on Thursday by text message with Barbara about another unpaid bill?
From Best Kept?
Yes.
Yep.
And Barb sent you a photo of a note, and the text message said, "Nice!" exclamation points, right?
Yes.
And the bill was from January 16th?
Yes.
And this was September 15th?
Yes.
And the bill hadn't been paid?
It had been paid. It was a cash pay. They forgot to mark it paid.
Did the note to them say, "Todd, how about a little communication on why this is not getting paid"?
Yes.
Sounded like they weren't having ability to reach you. From January to September?
What's that?
From January to September?
Yes.
It's your position that that bill was already paid?
Yes.
You were flipping houses, and was there a problem with the last house you flipped selling on time?
No.
Did the cost more than you thought?
No.
Didn't you have to use some credit cards because you weren't paying the house on time?
We did some work in the basement of it, is why we did.
You had been fired previously by A1 Glass,
Correct.
and you had left Glass Service Center because it was too hard work for them?
It was. What's that?
You left Glass Service Center because it was too hard to work for 4 bosses at once?
Yes.
And you were in your own business, but you left because of business differences?
Yes.
Do things have to be your way?
No.
Were you concerned, or was Barb concerned that once again at Crown you're going to have to leave because you're having difficulties with people?
No.
That you're going to have to change your schedule because you're having difficulties with people?
No.
When the police noted scratches on your neck, you first said that that was from working with glass, correct?
I said that, yes.
You don't work with glass at Crown, do you?
No.
And you work with windshields, but that's not the same as working with broken glass, right? I assume when you install windshields, you're not getting scratched up from broken glass.
It depends how bad it's broken.
Well, were these scratches from glass?
No. Not from glass doing at home.
You said it was from working with glass.
Correct, I said that.
That was a lie.
It wasn't a lie.
It was not true.
It was not true.
The scratches were from her trying to get you off of her, weren't they?
Nope.
The two of you were fighting and she was scratching your neck?
Nope.
She was scratching your neck, her nail broke. Looks like a fight, doesn't it?
No.
Not at all?
Well, it might look like it, but it wasn't.
You said that you had to, in the police interview, you had to drag her out of the car. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
You also said that she rolled out at first, but you put her back in. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
You said that the door kept closing. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
If you're standing between the passenger door and the car when it's open, you'd be facing Barbara on the seat. The door would be behind you, right?
Beside me, yes.
Wouldn't it just be easy to just keep the door on your back, hold it open, and attend to Barb?
A lot of things would have been easy.
Well, that would have been easy, right?
I can't say that.
Well, you could keep the door open pretty easily with your behind, right? Right?
You could, yes.
And you said she first rolled out, but you had to put her back in to get the pipe out of the way, right?
Yes.
How was the pipe in the way?
I don't remember how it was in the way. It was hanging in the way.
In the way of what? What was in the way of?
The pipe was hanging through the windshield,
Yeah?
down past by the seat,
Yeah? What was in the way of?
getting Barb out of the car.
Okay. The pipe wasn't lodged in the windshield solid, was it? It was loose.
Yes.
You could just take that pipe and just slide it back out from the inside and attend to Barb, right?
In a perfect world, yes.
Well, in any world, right? In this world.
Objection, argumentative. Sustained.
Why wouldn't it be easy in this world to slide the pipe out and attend to her?
I wasn't thinking that.
Well,
I don't
is it-
know. I mean, the door wouldn't stay open, and I was trying to contend with her, and
She was unconscious?
at that point, yes.
It wouldn't have been easy to just pick her up and move her out, would it?
It wasn't, no,
Why wasn't it easy?
because something was caught on her.
What was caught on her?
I don't know what it was.
Well, there wasn't anything down by her feet, was there?
Something down there was caught on her, yes.
The only thing in the photos is her shoe.
Okay.
Well, what would have been caught on her then?
I don't, something was caught on
Ask
her.
for speculation. Asked and answered. Overruled.
You don't know?
I don't know.
One of her shoes was left in the vehicle, and the other shoe was behind you, next to the car, right?
Yes.
Were they kicked off in a struggle outside the car?
No.
Did it look like scuff marks from a shoe on the side of the car to you?
I didn't see it.
You saw the pictures.
Yes, I did.
Did you throw one shoe back in the car and couldn't find the other shoe because it was so far behind you?
No.
Well, you didn't drag her out over that seat, did you? The passenger seat? Did you pick her up or drag her out?
I kind of pulled her out.
Pulled her out? You saw the dirt on the side of the passenger seat, right?
Yes.
Didn't look disturbed, did it?
No.
Now, you said to the police that a pipe came off the truck. Do you remember that?
I did say that, yes.
You said it a number of times, didn't you?
I did, yes.
You actually said that you saw it as it came off the truck, right?
I did one time, yes.
You said it rolled off the truck, right?
I thought so, yes.
Now, today you said you didn't know what it was until after it hit the car, right?
Yes.
You thought it might be a bird at first?
Yeah.
Did you think a bird would come through the windshield?
No.
You wouldn't have to hit your fist at the windshield for a bird, would you?
No.
If you didn't know what it was until after it was in the car, why would you need to hit the windshield?
Because I did say at one point that it was a pipe.
Well, you said at one point, but did you see a pipe coming at you through the air?
I did yes, I did see a pipe coming.
At what point?
I couldn't tell you. I don't remember.
It would have been pretty fast, right?
Yes.
And if at first you didn't even recognize it, you had even less time to react, right?
Yes.
And you motioned on direct examination of how you punched the windshield, and you motioned with your left arm across your body up towards the windshield, right?
That's how I thought it was, yes.
But you had marks on all 8 knuckles of your fist, right?
Yes.
And an injury to your thumb, right?
Yes.
You think reaching over your body, you wouldn't just hit the back of your hand?
I don't know.
Well, it's because it didn't happen, right?
Yes, it did happen.
You punched the windshield with enough force that quick because you thought you saw a pipe coming at the windshield.
Yes.
And you didn't react in front of you or reach out for Barb. You punched the windshield?
Yes.
With both hands?
With one hand, for sure.
Well, how the injuries get on the other hand then?
I don't know. I don't remember.
From punching Barb?
No.
Not from punching the windshield?
It's not from punching Barb.
It's not from punching the windshield either.
I don't know what it's from.
You're the only one there, Mr. Kendhammer.
Well, I said in one interview I thought I hit it with both hands.
Okay. You let go of the wheel?
If I hit it with both hands, I had to have, yes.
You said you didn't hit the brakes.
I don't remember hitting the brakes, no.
You didn't lose control of the car?
I don't remember losing control of the car, no.
And after that, you must have hit the brakes to make the turn on Bergen Coulee, right?
Yes.
You drove for a little ways on Highway M before Bergen Coulee, right?
Yes.
You didn't lock up the brakes, did you?
I don't recall.
Did you see any skid marks on the road? Do you remember locking up the brakes?
I do not remember.
While we're on that topic, your memory seems to fade at certain parts, Mr. Kendhammer, and be solid in other parts.
Okay.
Is it possible you're making this entire story up?
No.
Not possible.
No.
When you made the right-hand turn, you then put your foot back on the gas?
I don't recall.
Well, you'd have had to go another 300 feet, right?
Well, it's a downhill slope, I think.
You were coasting?
I don't recall.
You would have had to put your foot on the gas to go down to 300 feet, right?
I don't recall.
You must have put the foot on the brake to make it stop, right?
I don't recall that either.
Well, logic would say you'd have to, right?
It doesn't have to. I don't recall if I did or not.
How did you get it into reverse without hitting the foot on the brake?
I don't know if I put my foot on the brake. I don't remember.
You put it in reverse, the car would start going backwards? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
And you didn't just put your foot on the brake, you just let it drift backwards?
I don't recall if I put my foot on the brake.
Okay. Now, the car's drifting backwards, and you're just letting it drift backwards. Is that right?
I apparently thought it was in park because I must have went to get out or pulled the wheel. I don't know.
Why did you turn the wheel to the right?
I have no idea.
Did she turn the wheel to the right to try to get out?
No.
You must have turned the wheel to the right to end up backwards in the ditch.
Yep.
Don't know why you did that.
No.
Because you're lying and you can't keep your story straight?
No.
It's hard to make up facts, isn't it?
No.
Once you're back in the ditch, then you did move the car into park, right?
I don't recall if it was in park or not.
Well, it was in park when the police got there.
But I don't know if it was when the first responder got there.
Okay. When did you touch the rearview mirror to put a bloody fingerprint on it?
I don't know when I did.
Was it knocked because the two of you were fighting and you had it straightened out?
No.
You said you got a bruise on your leg from jumping over the gear shifter, right?
That's what I thought it was, yes.
When did you jump over the gear shifter?
I didn't jump over it, I jumped into it.
At one point you said you were more on her side than your side.
Okay.
Were you?
I don't recall.
Of course not.
Objection to the comment. Sustained.
You did not see Randy Erler drive by?
No.
You did not hear him drive by?
No.
Did not hear a truck going past your car?
No.
You told police that nobody would stop for you.
They wouldn't.
Well, he would have if you called. Right?
Okay. If I would have seen him drive by, I definitely would have called.
You said you were hollering and hollering for help, right?
When the first responder went by, yes.
Well, before that you weren't. Mr. Erler didn't hear anything.
I don't think Mr. Early would have heard it with his windows up.
He said his windows were down.
Okay. I don't know what time Mr. Earler went by.
Well, he said between 8:02 to 8:04 he got to his work site, which was only a minute away. He must have got there before you called 911, right?
Maybe, yes.
On the 911 call, you sound pretty frantic.
Yes, I was.
But it took you a couple minutes to do that, right?
Yes, it did.
If you were talking on the phone that way, likely Mr. Erler would have heard that, right?
Yes.
He didn't, though, because were you keeping her down the ditch and trying to shut her up?
No.
You didn't have an arm across her throat causing a fracture to the cricoid?
No.
You didn't have your finger across her lips causing bruises on the inside of her lips?
No.
But you just didn't hear Mr. Earler drive by?
No.
Help was 5 feet away and you had no idea?
No.
And he didn't see anybody and didn't see a crack in the windshield. You heard that?
Yes.
When you first ended up in the ditch, you said the first thing you did was go up behind the car to get to the passenger side. You remember that?
Yes.
Why would you go down the ditch to the back and not just in the front where the road is?
Because I would have had to go up the ditch to get out there.
Did you go in the trunk?
I don't remember.
Now there's some grass in the trunk. You saw that.
Yes.
The grass would have been tall there, right?
Yes.
Pretty good sign that the trunk was open, right?
Yes.
You don't remember?
Nope.
There was some dirt inside the trunk, and it looked like something like the pipe had been dragged out over the back of the trunk. Remember that?
I do, yes.
Pipe was in the trunk.
Okay.
You went in the trunk to get the pipe.
I did not go in the trunk to get the pipe.
You went in the trunk for some other reason?
I didn't say I went in the trunk. I don't recall if I went in the trunk.
There'd be no reason other than getting a pipe out. Is there?
I can't tell you that.
Because you got the pipe out.
I did not get the pipe out of the trunk.
You took her out first, and I think you said you fell backwards, so her head would be facing away from the road, correct?
Yes.
That area would have been relatively flat, correct?
I think so.
You started doing CPR right away, right?
Yes.
When the car first went backwards, why didn't you first feel for a pulse or attend to her, try to stop the bleeding or call 911? Why was your first reaction to get her out of the car?
Because she was bent over.
Did you straighten her up?
No.
Why not?
Because I didn't know the extent of her injuries.
So you just decided to yank her out of the car instead?
It was a pretty good adrenaline rush. And I don't think I was, I wanted to get her out of the vehicle.
Wouldn't the first thing to see where the injury is or to see if she's safe or if she's even hit?
I didn't do that.
You didn't do that because it didn't happen, right?
It did happen.
Now she's on a relatively flat spot facing away from the road. Why would you have to spin her around to face up the road to do CPR?
Because her head was downhill.
Her chest was flat?
She was tipped downhill.
You moved her to an incline. The first responder said like a 35-degree incline.
Yes.
Why didn't you just move her up to the road where it's flat?
I couldn't get her up there by myself.
You weren't that strong?
I don't know if I could have or not.
Mr. Mishulin said you had adrenaline-fueled superhuman strength to punch a windshield, but you couldn't move your wife up to the road.
I maybe could have.
Well, you didn't try, did you?
I did not try to move her to the road, no.
At that time, you still hadn't called 911. It took you a couple of minutes to call 911.
I had called 911 at that time.
At the time you moved her?
Yes.
Okay. When you took the pipe out of the window, you threw it behind the car. There's no reason to do that, is there?
I don't know. I don't know why it is.
Mr. Kendhammer, isn't it true that you punched her, broke her nose?
No.
Caused bruises on her face?
No.
There's blood on both your knuckles, right?
It's not from punching my wife.
There's scratches on your neck, right?
Yes, there was.
She had a broken nail, right?
Yes, she did.
I noticed when we look at photographs from the scene, you weren't wearing wedding ring that day, were you?
I was.
In the photographs from the scene, it wasn't on you.
I took it off.
Why would you do that?
Because it was bleeding. I didn't know if my fingers were going to swell up.
You were worried about that instead of your wife?
It was when I was standing there waiting to get to my wife.
She had scratches on her neck too, right?
Yes, she did.
You were strangling her at some point, weren't you?
No.
You had your mouth over her lips?
No.
You didn't want her screaming for help when Mr. Earler went by?
I did not have my nothing over her lips.
It was after Mr. Earler went by that you called 911, right?
I don't know that.
Well, the first call to 911 was 9:05, right?
No.
It wasn't?
No.
The first call, 8:05, I'm sorry.
Or something.
8:05. Mr. Earler said he went by at 8:02 to 8:04.
And I don't know what time the first call was for sure.
Okay. There was no blood in the passenger window, right?
I don't know.
You saw the pictures.
I did see pictures, yes.
There's no blood on the back of her seat, right?
I don't we're on the back of the seat.
Back of her seat?
Yes, there was. I think there was blood on the back of her seat.
Not on her headrest?
Maybe not on her headrest.
There were bruises on her hand, right?
Yes, there was a bruise on her hand.
Bruises on her arms?
Yes.
Her legs, too?
Yes.
Did you break that mug on the windshield, trying to break the windshield out?
No, I did not.
Is that why the mug was on the driver's side floor?
No.
Is that why the mug was broken?
No.
It's really hard to hit the window where it was hit from your seat as you're driving, isn't it?
I don't know that. What do you mean, from the inside?
Yes. Reaching over your body with your left hand and cocking your wrist and punching it upwards?
I can't answer that.
There was no glass or dirt in the mat pocket of the passenger door, right?
Correct.
There were a number of times where you tried to manipulate the police, didn't you?
Explain manipulate.
Well, you were lying about her work schedule, right?
No.
You said a number of times she had to be to work at 8:30. You never said 8.
No.
Even though you knew every other day she worked at 8.
Yes.
Never once mentioned that, did you?
No.
You hoped they wouldn't check it out.
No, I didn't.
You were vague about where the pipe came in and what it did because it never happened that way, right?
It did happen that way, to the best of my knowledge.
You described a flatbed truck as a 2000 truck era, dark color, not white, pocket size, 18 inches to 2 feet. That sounds pretty detailed, doesn't it?
It does sound detailed.
You thought more detail would make your lie more believable.
I was trying to help.
Trying to help by sending the police on a wild goose chase?
No, not sending them on a wild goose chase.
You were just setting up your story at that point, weren't you?
No.
You were right away saying you were going to Holman to talk to Justin Hine, right?
I believe right away I said I didn't remember.
In the first interviews that day, you were already saying Holman and Justin Hine, right?
In the first ones, yes.
Well, and in the last ones, right? Not until today we heard anything else.
Well, yes.
When did you first realize that you weren't going to see Justin Hine and Holman?
A week after.
Week after the incident?
Yeah.
They talked to you on
I watched.
September 22nd?
They talked to me on the. Who talked to me?
Sergeant Yaley and Investigator Leinfelder?
They talked to me on the Thursday before. Or Thursday of the accident, yeah.
And a week later, you realized you made some mistakes?
I didn't realize that I made mistakes. I realized that I had different stories.
Well, because you knew at that point they talked to Justin Hine and that story wasn't going to work.
No, that wasn't why.
That morning, when you said you were working by yourself, right, in woodshop?
Yes.
And you had Jordan's phone with you, right?
Correct.
Jordan wasn't with you, though.
Not at that time, no.
And you came down to the sheriff's department alone, right?
Yes.
And still had Jordan's phone, right?
Yes.
At 8:45 that morning they called you, right?
I don't recall what time it was.
Well, in the recording, Sergeant Yaley says it's 8:45.
Okay.
At 8:52 you called Justin Hine.
I did not call Justin Hine.
You sure?
Positive. Can I say something to add to that or not?
There's no question right now.
Okay.
You don't have these records, do you?
Go ahead.
Well, let's make sure we got the right number. Maybe I'm wrong. 790-5347.
That's Jordan's phone, correct.
Okay. So I'm handing you Exhibit 150. And Can you read the top number there? That says call records from?
790-5347.
Okay. And there's 2 highlighted calls. Do you see them?
Yes, I do.
And what's the number that's dialed?
Well, have we received this? Object to reading from a document we've not received.
You identify those as Jordan's cell phone number, right?
Overruled.
Mr. Kendhammer, do you remember calling Justin Heim on September 22nd?
No, I do not.
Do you remember getting a call back from him on September 22nd?
No, I do not.
Would there be any reason for you to call him that day?
No, there would not be.
During the interview that was conducted with Investigator Leinfelder and Sergeant Yaley, they challenged your story about where you were driving that day. Do you remember that?
Yes.
A number of times they kept telling you that it didn't make any sense that you'd be driving around looking for Justin Heim's house, right?
Correct.
You got mad at them when they challenged that story, right?
I don't believe I got mad at them, no.
You acted insulted that they would be challenging your story?
I may have, yes.
You said you wouldn't change your story, it's 100% true?
Yes.
You said you wouldn't snap?
Correct.
But now we know they were right to question that story about Justin Heim because it wasn't true.
Correct.
Were you trying to act insulted so that they might believe your story?
No.
You didn't call them after the interview to say you remembered something else or maybe that wasn't true, maybe now you know where you're going, nothing like that?
No.
You never acted confused or you couldn't remember where you were going. You seemed pretty adamant that that's exactly where you were going, right?
I had, I think I gave, no, that was right for the, yes.
Were you hoping they just wouldn't check up on things like Justin Heim or your wife's work schedule?
No.
You said you even went back to the scene a few times to try to remember before the police interview what happened.
I didn't go back to remember.
Didn't you tell the police that you were trying to go back so you can remember things?
We went back to take a basket there.
Even when the police pointed out to you that your story couldn't be true because he talked to Justin Heim, you still didn't remember where you had been driving that morning.
Correct.
And today you say that you were trying to find the house of Mr. Logan.
Correct.
How did you know it was a blue truck?
I've seen him pull the race car with that truck before.
Have you spoken to him personally about his windshield?
I have not.
Would he know that you were coming that day to look?
No, he would not have.
How would you have taken his truck and driven it back to your house if he didn't even know you were coming?
I would have knocked on his door.
Well, you said you would just take it because the keys were in it, right?
I did say that, yes.
You hadn't negotiated a price, though, right?
No.
And you said he would just come to your house to pick it back up and leave money on your deck.
That's how I've done windshields before.
He wouldn't have known that, right?
No.
And you said numerous times it was somebody that you've dealt with before and had done work for him before.
Correct.
Have you done work for Mr. Logan before?
No.
Did you change your story for trial because you knew the police had figured out your lies?
No.
When was the conversation that Mr. Logan might have a truck that needs a windshield?
In the lunchroom at Crown.
When?
I can't recall when.
The day before, the week before?
No, it was...
Months?
I don't recall. It wasn't a day or a week.
More than months?
It wasn't more than months, no. Month, maybe. I can't recall for sure.
And this Friday, why would it be so important that morning to go out and look for it if you don't even know where you're looking or if he even needs a windshield?
Because it was a spur of the moment. We walked out to get in the car and talked about it, and we're on our way back out the road, we were talking about it.
Why would you talk about something that was months old on the way to her work?
We always talked.
Why would you talk about this?
I have no idea.
Why wouldn't you take her to work and then go driving around looking for a truck?
I don't know that either.
In the interview, at one point, do you remember the investigator trying to ask you how you got her out of the car? And you said You don't think it was nice?
Yes.
And they were trying to ask you how you grabbed her. Was it by an arm and a leg? How exactly it happened? Do you remember that?
I do, yes.
Your response was, I've never ever in 28 years never touched her or grabbed her or raised my voice with her, and I was mad at myself for some reason. What were you mad at yourself about?
How I pulled her out of the car and fell with her.
Well, how does that raise the idea of domestic violence in 28 years, never touching her, grabbing her, or raising your voice?
I may have, I don't know.
At that point in the interview, nobody had suggested that you hurt her or they were suspecting you. That came from you first.
How far into the interview was that?
Half hour?
I don't know.
Is it because you had a guilty conscience?
No.
Is it because you were mad at her for what you did to her?
No.
That's all I have.
Mr. Kendhammer, if you'd please rise for the reading of the verdict. State of Wisconsin versus Todd A. Kendhammer, 16 CF 909. We, the jury, find the defendant, Todd A. Kendhammer, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in the information. Dated this 14th day of December, 2017. Signed, Timothy, foreperson. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the verdict I just read, this is the verdict of each of you. Would you please raise your right hand? The record could show we're now outside the presence of the jury. Mr. Grinke, any further comments?
No, Your Honor, we're going to ask that his bond be revoked pending sentencing.
Mr. Hurley, anything further?
Not at this time.
Okay. Well, the court, having heard the testimony, will accept the jury's verdict. I'll enter a judgment of conviction on behalf of Mr. Kendhammer on count 1, first-degree intentional homicide, contrary to Wisconsin statute section 940.01, parent 1, parent A, and 939.50, parent 3, parent A. I will revoke your bond. You'll be remanded to the custody of the sheriff. I'll set sentencing for March 9th, starting at 9 o'clock. I'll have to make PSI be submitted to the court no later than the 1st of March. We're adjourned.
Try to keep your head up. All right, Dad, we'll get you out. Don't worry about it.
The other factors. In this case here, you had a marriage of 25 years. Your attorney's asking for a 20-year parole eligibility date. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell the judge that reviews that release request whenever it happens that you've come to grips, you've amended the situation. Because if you don't do that, I doubt that any judge would ever release you. 20 years is way too short. The length of your marriage at 25 years is, in my mind, way too short. I will set your parole eligibility or review date at March 9th of 2048. 30 years from now, when you're 77. think that would be somewhat consistent with a crime of passion, a second-degree homicide, had you not put the police down the path you took them. But if you don't correct that by then, in 30 years, the judge denies it, that life sentence will be that. So I hope you understand this. So I will prepare the written explanation of determinate sentence. Your total length of your sentence for count 1 is life imprisonment. You are eligible for release to extended supervision after serving 30 years and 0 months. This document will give you further information on how you can extend that date by bad behavior. I'm not sure that prior sentence credit is really going to have much to do with that, since the date starts 30 years from today. Any comment on that, Mr. Bednarik? Ms. Kendhammer?